This seems bigger than the tent.
Should have.
Yeah.
I normally do.
Thought about the upper deck. I felt like a bad decision.
We had to take the photo up.
Welcome to this auspicious day, the 187th commencement at Colby Sawyer College. We have gathered to celebrate the accomplishments of the undergraduates and graduates of the class of 2025. To make commencement as enjoyable as possible, please silence your cell phones and keep the aisle clear for the duration of the ceremony. Professional photographs of all graduates will be made available to you, and thank you. Now, please rise if you are able and join Campus Safety Officer Willie Baycoat in singing the national anthem.
Good morning. Congratulations, class of 2025. It's an honor to lead you in our nation's national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail as the twilight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say doth that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Willie. Chair Hogarty and members of our Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, family and friends, and graduates, welcome to Colby Sawyer's commencement ceremony for the class of 2025. Graduates, this is your day, and we look forward to celebrating you and all your accomplishments. One of Colby Sawyer's traditions is to ask the recipient of the Jack Jensen Award, the college's highest teaching honor, to offer the commencement address. We look forward to hearing from Professor Dave Lutz shortly. In addition, every year, faculty, staff, and students select a senior to offer remarks to the graduating class. Brian Calmallo will share his thoughts in just a bit. As president, this is my chance to offer my brief thoughts as well. Today, we gather to celebrate our graduates of the class of 2025. For the first decades of its history, Colby Sawyer College graduates earned a 2-year associate degree. Today, we recognize students from multiple degree programs, including graduate, undergraduate, accelerated bachelor's, bachelor's completion, associate degree, and for the first time in the college's history, we will award doctoral degrees. Yeah. This is a special milestone for the college and our graduates. To our graduate and professional studies graduates, you have greatly enhanced the learning environment at Colby Sawyer. Our associate and bachelor's completion graduates have persevered in earning their degrees, often juggling full-time work with other demands on their time. Our master's and doctoral degree graduates have similarly completed intense requirements. Our ABSN students learned in the classroom and at the hospital the myriad of skills they needed to master and leave today as Colby Sawyer nurses. Many of you have paused or delayed your professional pursuits to obtain your degrees. You have managed family life and raising children in addition to your studies. Faculty share that you have been actively engaged in your courses, you asked many reflective questions, and you applied your real-world expertise to class discussions and projects. Some of you have been on campus with us to complete your studies. Others of you have mainly known the college through your interactions with your faculty teaching you online. Most of you began your studies as our first or an early cohort in your specific programs. Your feedback has helped us continually strengthen our approach, and you have enriched Colby Sawyer's academic program. We wish you well as you continue to pursue your professional passions. To our traditional undergraduates, what a journey you have had. I remember the day you moved into your first residence hall room on campus and attended the convocation ceremony on the quad. It was a sunny, breezy day, not very much like today. Your orientation leaders cheered for you as you arrived on campus, and some of our staff helped you carry your things to your room. You had very few friends here yet, and you looked nervous, making little eye contact with us. In the afternoon, you walked through an honor corridor of faculty and staff to take your seats at the convocation ceremony, having no idea why we were clapping for you. After the ceremony, you said goodbye to loved ones, some of you in tears, and began your college experience. Those first couple of weeks were a big adjustment. There were moments of panic when you had no idea where your next classroom was, and you missed your family and friends back home. Classrooms were completely silent as you took your seats those first few sessions before you made friends. As the weeks went by, you adjusted to the pace and rigor of your classes and learned to manage your time and plan for assignments. This came easier for some of you than for others. You learned your professors' expectations, and you took your first exams. Pretty soon it was Mountain Day, and you climbed the mountain with friends, posed for photos at the top, and recognized the cupola from the summit. Every day, Colby Sawyer felt more like your home. 3 weeks ago, you presented your capstone work at the College Symposium. You were confident and poised, and your faculty were so very proud of your work and your growth as a scholar. You marched with your friends into the field house today with confidence, making eye contact. And when you march out of the field house in a little while, you will exit through an honor corridor of your faculty and staff to signify the end of this part of your scholarly career that you began with your convocation ceremony 4 years ago. I'll tell you why we were clapping for you when you walked into convocation. We knew your potential, and we knew you would find it here. We knew you would find your voice here. We knew you would find your friends here. We knew that this was the beginning of a relationship with this college and its community that will remain strong long after you leave here today. This is an important transition for you. Some of you are eager to receive your degrees and jump immediately into your next steps. Some of you are a bit more hesitant, wanting to stretch the moments you encountered at Colby Sawyer a bit further. I want to share some of the lessons I've learned by being a member of this special community for 31 years. Each of you has received a high-quality education that will prepare you well for your next step. When I speak with alumni, so many of them share how their Colby Sawyer academic experience prepared them better than their peers for graduate school. Thanks to the practical experience across programs, our students enter the workforce immediately ready to contribute. Have confidence in the knowledge you have learned here. You will carry the lessons of support and challenge your faculty provided. You likely received at least one paper or test that had an overwhelming number of comments in the margins and a grade lower than you expected or wanted. Yet you have also achieved many successes in the classroom, speaking in class discussions, feeling prepared for and then succeeding on your exams and your papers, treating a patient for the first time on your own, contributing to the solution of a company's problems. All of you in the class of 2025 found ways to stretch to new lengths discover new capabilities, and develop a stronger sense of self. The aspect of Colby Sawyer that inspires me most is the power of relationships cultivated here. Each of you has forged special relationships with your faculty, with staff, and with your peers. Our faculty and staff stay in touch with students who reach out for advice or simply to connect with them about their lives. Our alumni rely on their Colby Sawyer friends to celebrate their milestones after graduation. As you leave today with your diploma in hand, beyond symbolizing your accomplishments and hard work, let it also be a reminder of the meaningful relationships you will carry with you and on which you can lean in the years ahead. You are well prepared and ready for your next step, whether it be to pursue more education, start or continue a job, or something else. I hope you feel the confidence we have in you since we met you, and we will be clapping for you long after you march across this stage. We will always be interested in knowing where your journey takes you from this launch pad. In fact, one of my greatest joys is hearing from, or better yet, visiting with my former students. Colby Sawyer will always be your home, and today you will join the Colby Sawyer alumni family. Please remember that your Colby Sawyer faculty, staff, and friends remain here to support you, laugh with you, and to celebrate your accomplishments. Congratulations. Now we begin the awards portion of our ceremony. The college presents its highest honor, the Susan Colgate Cleveland Medal for Distinguished Service, to someone who best exemplifies the attributes of former trustee Susan Colgate Cleveland: hard work, dedication, generosity, and influence in the field of education. Would alumna and former trustee Pamela Stanley Bright please come forward? Pam, you graduated from Colby Junior College with an Associate of Art in Liberal Arts, raised a family, and worked as a development officer and assistant to the headmaster at Loudon Country Day School in Virginia. You then earned a bachelor's degree in sociology and psychology from St. Ambrose University in Iowa. You were a trustee and member of the executive committee of the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library Association, and were on the boards of the Bettendorf Community Schools Foundation and the Friendly House, a neighborhood settlement house in Davenport. You were also a member of the board of directors of Critchlow Adkins Daycare Centers in Maryland. You served on the Colby Sawyer College Board of Trustees from 2004 to 2013, and then again from 2014 to 2023. During that time, you chaired the board organization and student development committees, and were a member of the Buildings and Campus Planning, Enrollment Management, Academics and Student Experience, Board Organization and Trusteeship, and Executive Committees. You also served on the Facilities Subcommittee and the Innovation Task Force. In 2013, you received the Distinguished Alumni Award for your remarkable work on behalf of the college. Your family connection to the college goes back to the days of Colby Academy, where your grandfather, Horace Clough Stanley, graduated in 1901. He served as a trustee from 1915 to 1954, and as a local contractor, built several of the halls on campus. In 2003, you and your husband Stan established the Horace Clough Stanley Scholarship at Colby Sawyer in your grandfather's memory. In addition to supporting students, you and Stan have always responded to the college's most critical needs by supporting the Colby Sawyer Fund and important capital projects such as the David Howe and Schaefer Centers. In recognition of the exceptional contributions you have made to the college and beyond, you are this year's recipient of Colby Sawyer's highest honor, the Susan Colgate Cleveland Medal for Distinguished Service. The medal recognizes the institution's gratitude for the remarkable way in which you exemplify Cleveland's attributes, ensuring that her work, dedication, and influence will be remembered. For your achievements, we are proud to confer upon you, Pamela Stanley Bright, the Susan Colgate Cleveland Medal for Distinguished Service.
Thank you.
Let's get a picture for Bill. Great. Thank you. Arthur Levine, former president of Columbia University, described the purpose of honorary degrees as the last lesson a college can teach by showing examples of people who most represent the values an institution stands for. Today's recipient certainly exemplifies the values of Colby Sawyer College. The Honorary Doctor of Laws is conferred upon individuals who have achieved distinction in governance or public service or have achieved preeminence in the field of law. This year, the honorary doctorate is presented to the former U.S. Representative Anne McLean Custer. Would the Honorable Anne McLean Custer please come forward? Representative Custer, as an attorney, community activist, and U.S. Congresswoman, you have worked to improve access to affordable health care, combat climate change, create jobs, and support veterans, women, students, and seniors. You have continued your story's family's dedication to public service. Your great-grandfather, John McLean, was governor of New Hampshire. Your father, Malcolm McLean, served in World War II and was mayor of Concord. And your mother, Susan McLean, a champion of equal rights, served in the New Hampshire State Senate. In 1978, just 6 years after Dartmouth College admitted women, you earned a bachelor's degree in environmental policy. You then earned a law degree in 1984 from Georgetown University Law Center and worked for more than 2 decades as an adoption attorney before serving New Hampshire's 2nd Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives from 2013 to 2025. As founder and chair of the Bipartisan Addiction and Mental Health Task Force and the Bipartisan Task Force to End Sexual Violence, you addressed some of the most pressing challenges facing society. And your initiatives to create good jobs and expand economic opportunities for families across the state reflect values that resonate deeply with our mission to prepare students to lead meaningful lives and to positively impact communities. You were pivotal in creating the unique college investing plan to help parents save for their children's education and the New Hampshire Medication Bridge Program to help people with low incomes gain access to medicine. Your legislation and work in Congress earned you multiple distinctions, including the New Hampshire Women's Foundation's 2023 Amplify Her Award. You also served on the boards of numerous organizations, including the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, New Hampshire Public Radio, the Capital Center for the Arts, and Child and Family Services of New Hampshire. In recognition of your exceptional leadership, dedication to public service, and commitment to improving the lives of New Hampshire families, Colby Sawyer College is proud to confer upon you the honorary degree, Doctor of Laws. Please join me in congratulating the Honorable Anne McLean Custer. The Jack Jensen Award for Excellence in Teaching is the college's highest teaching award. Each year, the award honors a teacher who communicates high expectations and encourages intellectual curiosity, respects diverse talents and ways of learning, and engages students and inspires them to do their best work. Would School of Arts and Sciences Assistant Professor David Lutz please join me? David Lutz joined the Colby Sawyer faculty in 2023. He holds a BS in biology from Wake Forest University and a Master of Science and PhD in environmental sciences from the University of Virginia. David's research, which focuses on the use of satellite imagery, computer models, and sensor networks to understand forest ecosystems and environmental change, has been funded by NASA, the United States Forest Service, the National Park Service, and the National Science Foundation. He has published extensively and served as a peer reviewer for scientific journals. He has also been an institutional award panelist for NASA, evaluating funding proposals from scientists across the country. In the classroom, David infuses his teaching with enthusiasm and humor and ties his instruction clearly to learning objectives. He knows his students individually and maintains high expectations for them while helping them address barriers to their progress. His nominators called him observant and insightful and praised his ability to engage students in their learning and involve them in additional projects and research opportunities. David represents Colby Sawyer in a statewide National Science Foundation program that facilitates sponsored research opportunities for students and faculty. As the college's Goldwater representative, he recommends students for the prestigious Goldwater Fellowship. His campus leadership activities include the Academic Policies Committee, the Liberal Education Program Review Steering Committee, and the IT Advisory Committee. Please join me in congratulating Assistant Professor David Lutz as this year's recipient of the Jack Jensen Award for Excellence in Teaching. According to Colby Sawyer tradition, the recipient of the Jack Jensen Award delivers the commencement address. So I turn the lectern over to Professor Lutz, whose speech is titled, Always Be.
Thank you, Laura. I am humbled to be here and honored to receive this year's Jensen Award. And accordingly, I have some people I'd like to thank before I congratulate the class of 2025. I'd like to thank my family, my wife Kate, and our dogs Waffle and Tugboat. Many of the students know Tugboat. I often bring her here to campus and students can sign her out and take her for a walk. And I'm pretty convinced that Tugboat is one of the real reasons I'm actually standing here today. Just a little bit earlier, I heard two students talking, and one asked who the commencement speaker was, and the other one said, "Oh, it's Tugboat's dad." Not Professor Lutz, the guy who uses satellite imagery to study the rainforest. Tugboat's dad. And no, students, before you even ask, I did not bring Tugboat to campus today. Sorry. I'd like to thank them and my wife Kate for supporting me. I'd like to thank my fellow Colby Sawyer professors who have enthusiastically welcomed me in the community and provided me with guidance, advice, and collegiality. After my first few weeks here, I remember thinking to myself, wow, these people are so organized and put together, how am I gonna fit in? And after pondering it a bit more, I thought, I've got it. Maybe I can ask them to detail their process via a 257 question survey during faculty forum. Are they enthusiastic about helping their students or just very enthusiastic? But compared to my peers, I feel quite inferior. When Lauren and Eden told me I'd won the Jensen Award, I had a hard time believing it. And the only reason I thought I could have won was if students misspelled the name Brandon Arvidsson as D-A-V-E-L-U-T-Z. But then I thought, well, that's Brandon's own fault for not correcting their spelling in Writing 101. Another group I'd like to thank and really to congratulate are the parents and family of this year's graduating class. Congratulations on reaching graduation. You've encouraged your children to seek a higher education and entrusted us with helping them reach their goals. And I think I speak for many of us here when I say we are really honored beyond description. I do have one bone to pick with you all, though. At what point in their childhood Did you create an intense fear and aversion of your kids to a course syllabus? Did you create evil puppets of syllabi and scare these kids when they were in their cribs? What's the deal? But when I think about it, maybe I am glad that your kids don't read the course syllabus. It helps that when students come into my office hours, I have a really easy time because 70% of all my answers to their questions are, it's in the syllabus. But ultimately, I want to thank and congratulate the graduating class of 2025. It's been a privilege to work with you and get to know you, really. And one of the most difficult parts of writing this speech was that there are several students that I don't know as well, since they're in other majors. And I thought to myself, how am I going to make a joke that would land with students in programs other than environmental science, for instance, nursing majors? I thought, what would really make nursing majors laugh? And then I thought, wait, do nursing majors laugh? I thought about that question for a little while and then came up with an answer. I'll tell a joke and ask them to laugh, but only after promising them that they'd get a B-. I really have learned a lot here from the students as an ecologist. My favorite piece of knowledge I have gained from these past 2 years is to never, ever turn the lights on right when I enter the classroom for an 8 a.m. class. You see, you all have taught me that your generation has somehow become nocturnal. Rather than sunshine, you prefer dimly lit rooms whose sole source of illumination is the blue glow emanating from your phones and computer screens. The first time I walked into Chem 101 and saw a set of faces staring back at me, I felt like an outsider who had just walked into a forbidden ceremony of the dark arts. I was so startled that I almost called New Hampshire Fish and Wildlife to report a hibernaculum of a new species of cave bat. Now, over the years, I have been fortunate enough to have been taught by a wide range of helpful, knowledgeable, and caring teachers and professors, and I am so grateful for them. My list of teachers includes Mr. Nelms, Mr. Woodland, Mr. Van Leer, Mr. Wheat, Mrs. Byrne, Mrs. Bielli, Mrs. Kittle, Drs. Miles Silman, Bob Brown, Hank Schugert, Howie Epstein, Robert Washington Allen, Rich Howarth, and many others. And you see, without any of these people, I would not have been shaped into the person I am today. I'm sure that some of them might not even really remember me, but one thing is for sure, all of us remember the teachers that helped us along the way. And I'm sure many of you remember your teachers, be them in the form of school teachers, professors, coaches, spiritual advisors, elders, or friends. And so in honor of them, the ones who helped you get here today, let's pause for a few moments just to think about them and quietly thank them for helping us in our lives. Okay. Graduation from college is an important stage in one's life. Graduating class of 2025, you probably won't forget the feeling that you have right now. You're making your way from a somewhat sheltered existence in college to a wider world fraught with uncertainty. None of us, your parents and relatives, nor the faculty and staff here can honestly tell you that what you are walking into is close to what we experienced at your age. Life is now a series of contradictions. The world is seemingly more interconnected online, yet people are more distant and separated from each other in real life. All knowledge is available to us in an instant, and yet our leaders make decisions based on nothing but intuition and emotion. We preach to you the importance of serving the public and helping others, while we dismantle institutions whose job it is to facilitate this aid. It's like we're living in the upside down, a topsy-turvy era where it's hard to find one's bearings. Now, I'm not going to tell you that everything is going to be okay, to follow your dreams or reach from the stars. I'm not that kind of commencement speaker or person, really, but what I can tell you is that you have a supportive community available to help you. Look around you. All those teachers you thought about earlier, well, they're likely still out there. Some of them may even be here in the audience, dressed in silly outfits, yes, but here nonetheless. Your friends and family are here, perhaps watching the webcast or wishing they could be here, but they are thinking of you, and if you asked any of them for help, I could guarantee you that all of them would gladly support you in an instant. We would be happy to. Now, I might not be able to know the best way to help you all individually, so the way I thought I could help in some small fashion would be to offer you a framework that has helped me. And this framework takes a moment to explain. So in ecology and environmental sciences, our goal is to understand and document how the natural world is changing. The trouble, though, is that there is a lot going on. If we want to know if a water quality in a lake is changing, well, we have to consider a lot of things. We may take a water sample in one location, but what if something about that location is influencing our results? What if the time of day is impacting what we observe? What if the season or a rainstorm is having effect? You see, there's so many variables that we don't know what is happening unless we account for them all. And the way we can do that is by taking more samples. We can take them at many different times, across many different locations and seasons. But ultimately, to truly know if the lake water is changing, we must be sampling constantly. And my motto for this process is a single acronym, ABS, which stands for, see, they know, always be sampling. And in a way, it's relatively straightforward. The more we observe, the better we understand. And as I consider the theme of the speech, I realized that this general framework could help you too as you walk out into this big, uncertain world. So number one, ABS, always be sympathetic. The world is made up of people, busy people, stressed people, sad people, angry people. And each one of these individuals may or may not have a good reason for being the way that they are in the moment. But we are only seeing them in one instance. We have but one sample of their overall being. Perhaps there is an event that is impacting them that is out of their control. Perhaps they've just had a bad day, they've lost a pet, they were in an argument with a friend. We cannot know with just one measurement. So it's always important to be sympathetic and forgiving, to hold space for that unknown reason. And this is true for how you approach yourself. I have met many students who think that they're not smart or good with math. But more often than not, I find that there is a reason why they feel the way that they do. They had a grumpy teacher in elementary school. They got in trouble once for forgetting their lines in a school play. In those cases, always being sympathetic towards oneself can help you realize that you are basing a judgment on one sample. Give yourself a chance. See what happens with another try, another 10 tries, another 1,000 tries. I've watched students who were petrified of programming their junior year turn around and win the Capstone Award for computationally analyzing tens of thousands of rows of data, and all because they kept trying. If you always be sympathetic to others and to yourself, I think you'll find that you'll be much more comfortable, especially when working to accomplish difficult things. Number two, always be savoring. What do I mean by savoring? Well, to savor something is to enjoy something fully and intensely, and full and complete appreciation of the moment. A little game I sometimes play with students during office hours is to ask them the number of times they have picked up their phone over the last day. And the numbers are sometimes staggering. I had one student who picked up their phone 140 times between 8 a.m. and noon. That's 35 times per hour, or every other minute. Society wants us to look away from what is immediately around us, to look at content, to try to buy things, to be distracted, to stay in that darkened room you like, staring at glowing screens. But what you'll find is that doing so will make you feel disconnected, discontented, and dissatisfied. Putting down your phone, taking out your earbuds, remaining in the moment. Always be savoring. These are the keys to taking advantage of the gift that we have to be alive, to be with our friends and family, to be thankful and grateful for what we have done. Savoring an experience is a transformative action. It keeps you mindful and present and makes you feel appreciative, even in the darkest moments you will face. The last one, the very last ABS, stands for always be sailing. This last acronym is guidance I received from my maternal grandmother. She gave me this advice when I graduated from high school, and at the time I didn't understand its impact. You see, when my grandmother wrote on a card for me on May 9th in the year 2000, almost exactly 25 years ago today, she was 85 years old. A Hungarian immigrant who had survived the Holocaust in Hungary, had escaped approaching Soviet tanks and rifles in the Hungarian Revolution, had come to New York City with her young family, and who took a job on the docks in New York to start everything over again with nothing but a suitcase. On my graduation card, she wrote, "Dearest grandson, be a good sailor on the sea of life, a sailor who knows his destination, keeps his direction, and does not let himself be swayed away by winds and waves." No matter what the world threw at her, she maintained her internal compass, and the end result was that she made it to safety, to freedom, and to a happy life. And I find this to be priceless advice. Know your destination, your direction, and keep your head up, and you can go anywhere you set your mind to. So I say to you, class of 2025, congratulations. We are proud of you. We love you. Happy sailing.
Thank you, Dave. The David H. Winton Baccalaureate Award is presented to the baccalaureate degree graduate who ranks highest in scholarship among those in the graduating class. Would Joshua Warner please join me? Joshua, a biology major and chemistry minor from Barrington, New Hampshire, completed his undergraduate career in 3 years with a 4.0 grade point average. He received the Biology Capstone Award for his project, which examined treatments for controlling cavity-causing oral bacteria, and the Baccalaureate Award in Biology, for which he was selected by the faculty for his commitment to excellence in his field. Joshua is a National Science Foundation Emerge Scholar and a member of the Wesson Honors Program, the Alpha Chi Honor Society, and Chi Alpha Sigma, the Honor Society for Student Athletes. A defensive standout on the men's soccer team, Joshua was a 3-time selection to the Great Northeast Athletic Conference All-Sportsmanship Team. He was a Student Government Association Senator, Vice President of the Biology Club, and a college ambassador with the Presidential Blue Key Society. In the future, Joshua plans to own and operate a dental practice and perhaps coach soccer. Please join me in congratulating the top scholar in the class of 2025 and recipient of the David H. Winton Baccalaureate Award, Joshua Warner.
The Colby Sawyer Award is given to the graduate who, in the opinion of the faculty, best exemplifies the ideals of the college in personal dignity, intellectual growth, contribution to campus life, and constructive influence on other students. Would Destiny Cruz please come forward? A psychology major and Wesson Honors Scholar from Fall River, Massachusetts, Destiny has served as president of the Student Government Association for 3 years, working closely with the senior leadership team and acting as a student advocate. She spent a lot of her time as president working to build community on campus as students rebounded from the COVID era. Destiny is a student athlete and a member of both the women's field hockey and women's lacrosse teams. As a first-generation college student, she is a member of the Bold Women's Leadership Network, which facilitates opportunities for leadership programming, career development, and networking. Destiny completed a remote internship out of Washington, D.C., in which she helped identify resources for immigrants entering the United States. Destiny's love for Colby Sawyer is evident in every interaction she has on campus. With her respectful, passionate, and positive approach, she's an outstanding role model for students. After graduation, Destiny will complete a post-grad fellowship with Global Lawyers for Refugees, an international group that provides legal support to refugees fleeing religious persecution. She will also return to the college to complete a Master of Business Administration and begin applying to law schools. Please join me in congratulating this year's Colby Sawyer Award recipient, Destiny Crew. Each year, the seniors, faculty, and staff nominate someone from the graduating class to offer remarks and remembrances. This year, Brian Kalmala was chosen as the senior commencement speaker. Brian Kalmala of Manchester, New Hampshire is a graphic design major and business minor who says that the community he has found at Colby Sawyer inspired him to want to speak at commencement. Brian has been involved at the college as a resident assistant, a peer mentor, an officer in the Black Community Club, and a freelance graphic designer for campus safety. He is a member of the First Generation Bridge program, which supports people who are the first in their family to pursue higher education. While at Colby Sawyer, Brian traveled to Italy to complete a summer internship and painting class at the Florence School of Fine Arts. While there, he also visited Pisa and Venice, and he fell in love with Italian architecture. In the fall, Brian will return to Colby Sawyer to complete his Master of Business Administration. Please join me in welcoming Brian as he delivers his address titled, Finding Our Place, Creating Our Purpose. Let me find it.
Thank you. And before we begin, I have two things I'd like to start off with. Before we came in here, me and Dave Zemansky made a bet on when I would cry during this speech, and shamelessly, I cried while Will was giving the national anthem, so Dave, I owe you 50. Second, I'd like to thank two special people in the audience today, who without them, I wouldn't be here today. Without them endlessly encouraging me to take the next step, to move forward, and to yank me out of bed in the morning when I didn't want to go to class. My sister Allison and my mother Adriana, who are here today, thank you for everything you have done. My place, my purpose. On my first day at Colby Sawyer, I stood outside my dorm room, lost in 64B, feeling the weight of uncertainty. As a first-generation college student, I could not shake the thought, am I really supposed to be here? I was stepping into unfamiliar territory, unsure of what the next 4 years would bring. What I did not realize then was Colby Sawyer was going to give me more than just an education. It was going to help me find my place and discover my purpose. As Robert Frost wrote, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. I remember those first moments vividly, being greeted by the upper class orientation leaders and RAs who welcomed us with warmth and enthusiasm. They showed us a glimpse of what it meant to be part of this community. In a full circle moment, many of us eventually stepped into those same roles, offering the same support and guidance to the next group of students. Little did we know, these roles would shape us. They would give us the energy, optimism, and resilience we would need to get to this moment. But belonging was not something that happened overnight. It was built through moments of challenge and growth, moments when we had to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Whether it was pushing through late-night study sessions, stepping outside of our comfort zones in class, or leading a club, we learned to take risks and to trust the process. My place, my purpose. Somewhere along the way, we discovered something unexpected. The generosity and care that surrounded us. Our class cared. We cared about each other, about our community, and about making a difference. That care showed up in the relationships that we built, the communities that we embraced, and the memories we created together. And it is that care, rooted in empathy and resilience, that has shaped us into who we are today. Who will ever forget things like climbing that Mount Kearsarge together when the bell finally rang, the fun of Wacky Bingo, and all the new lifelong friends we have met? Not me, my place, my purpose. Preparing to take these next steps, we are not just stepping into the future, we are shaping it. Because the world does not need more people who play it safe. It needs leaders who are willing to be uncomfortable, to ask difficult questions, and to challenge the status quo. As the world order appears to shift minute by minute, we need people and leaders willing to find their place, their purpose. As Nelson Mandela said, it is always impossible until it is done. Over the last 4 years, we have learned that what once seemed impossible has become our reality. Whether it was finding belonging, overcoming challenges, or discovering our place and our purpose, we are now stepping into a world that needs not just leaders, but listeners. It needs change makers who are ready to make a difference. This is our place, our purpose. Of course, our time here was not always about taking risks and finding purpose. Some of our greatest lessons came from unexpected moments, like learning that you can submit a paper at 11:59 and still be okay, or discovering that caffeine and ambition can fuel a last-minute assignment. And let us not forget the friendships forged over late-night pizza runs and group projects that somehow came together just in time. As I look out to all of us today, I see more than a class of graduates. I see a group of individuals who have learned to lead with heart, lift others up, and face challenges head-on. We have become a reflection of the values that Colby Sawyer instilled in us: integrity, service, and a commitment to making the world better than we found it. Our place, our purpose. We stood by each other through uncertainty, celebrated victories big and small, and leaned on one another when the path ahead was unclear. Now, as we prepare to take our next steps, we carry those lessons with us. We are not just stepping into the future, we are shaping it. But this moment is not just about looking back, it is about asking ourselves what comes next. How will we use what we have learned and who we have become to make a difference? How will we continue to create a world where everyone belongs? As we leave Colby Sawyer, we do not leave this community behind. We carry it with us in the way we lead, the way we serve, and the way we continue to show up for one another. So let us go out there, not just chasing success, but building something meaningful. Let us be the leaders, innovators, and change makers that Colby Sawyer has prepared us to be. Stepping into this next chapter, we remember that the future is not something that happens to us. It is something we create together. And if these past 4 years have shown us anything, it is that we are more than ready to take on that challenge. Congratulations, class of 2025. I know that what we have learned and experienced at Colby Sawyer College will lead us to find our next place and next purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for offering your reflections today. We wish you the best of luck. And now, the time has come for the most anticipated part of our ceremony, the conferring of the degrees. Will the class of 2025 please stand?
We will award degrees individually, alphabetically by major. First associate degrees, then baccalaureate degrees, then master's degrees, then doctoral degrees. President Sykes will confer the degrees. President Sykes, these students are candidates for the degrees of Associate of Liberal Arts, Associate of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Exercise Science, Master of Science in Nursing, Master of Social Work, and Doctor of Nursing Practice.
By the authority granted me by the legislature of the state of New Hampshire and the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Colby-Sawyer College, I hereby confer the appropriate degrees upon those who have met the graduation requirements. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Associate of Arts, Liberal Arts, Kelsey Kerner. Ariana Malinowski. Associate of Science, Health Science, Riley M. Berry. Acadia Dellinger. Bachelor of Arts, Creative and Professional Writing, Grace Livia Denny. Isabel Macrina. Tessa Lynn Millette. Leanne Stratz. Emily Sturdivant. Crime and Legal Studies, Matthew Bennett. Bailey Joseph Camacho. Alyssa R. Cornell. Camden Luke Lovelet. Owen Morse. Alexandra Perez. Graphic Design, Brian Calmallo. Aiden Goyette. Achias Jaden Wolfley. History and Political Studies. Morgan Joseph Pugliafico. Morgan's diploma is being presented by his mother, Justine Pugliafico. Ms. Pugliafico serves as a finance assistant here at Colby Sawyer. Matthew Xavier Slover. Allison Stevens. Chestina Roland Terry. Psychology, Colin Belisle. Courtney Brewster. Isabella Grace Brown. Destiny Cruz. Mariana Benita Cruz. Asia Damore. Katya Delgado. Haven Deschaines. Marie DeSalvio. Sarah Fuller. Taylor Jancio. Benjamin Mensch. Chelsea Vidum. Amanda Lynn Woodsum. Self-design, Deontay Barton. Daniel Castriata. Sociology and Human Services, Jordan Hilditch. D'Angelina Embelair. Connor James Monahan. Natalie Panagrosso. Bachelor of Fine Arts, Graphic Design, Marshall Sylvester. Sarah Jane Zink. Studio Art, Alexa Faith Jenkins. Bachelor of Science, Biology, Ethan Julian True Brown. Olivia K. DeShane. Caitlin Emma Fox. May Janest. Madison Lynn Grieger. Kundai Victor Gandini. Joshua Thorne Warner. Business Administration, Brady T. Holmes. Aiden Jensen. Nathan Marquis. Shamar Martin. Anastasia Catherine Miller. John Patrick Mullen. Bridget O'Connell. Brooke Patnode. Alexandra J. Patton. Sarah Peabody. Jonathan Mark Platty. Emma Rand. Eric Rose. Gabe Sperry. Ryan Wilson. Child Development, Caitlin Rachel Perrin. Hallie Eliza Pletzer. Lindsay Alexandra Reed. Child Development Education Prep, Elise Baisley. Melody Anna Falker with a dual degree, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology. Jessie Lynn Gendron. Hannah Mae Guile. Gabriel Jacobs. Emma LeConte. Olivia McGeary. Riley Lou McGrath. Hadley Myers with a dual degree, Bachelor of Arts, Studio Art. Sarah Robinson. Jillian Christine Sweat. Environmental Science, Quinn May Aldrich. Grace Elizabeth Carpenter. Samantha R. Karras. Bailey Jo Tremblay. Environmental Studies, Dryden David Eliason. Exercise Science, Mackenzie Lynn Hopkins. Jordan Kofos. Courtney Maria Larson. Gabriella Lucertini. Ethan Macon. Megan Molitari. Marty Stusik. Gabrielle Wooten. Health Science, Sarah Francisca Coughlin. Ja Gordon. Kaylin Riley Hanna. Sabrina Elizabeth Lippold. Hannah McAloon. Caitlin Rose McGimpsey. Alyssa Marie Slocum. Healthcare Administration, Abby Quinlan. Colby Volkernick. Nursing, Jessica Allen. Kaylee Beaudry. Ariana Botetto. Kate Bonenberger. Anastasia Bond. Emma Helene Bonfiglio. Yamila Buenzair. Hannah Charlotte Brown. Fiona Gabriela Costa. Alexa Dahl. Bridget Kayasi Dahl. Ashley Teresa Daigle. Dinah Daigle. Anna Dunton. Isabel Fernandez. McLaren Elizabeth Flanders. Audra Grace Fonts. Gianna Jean Gilmore. Leslie Smith Grimma. Abigail Muriel Gross. Elise Hogan. Amanda Grace Hughes. Brenna Humpage. Mariah Jellison. Raul Kahurwa. Bezawit Kabada. Riley Morgan Krizan. Sophia Florence Coulthau. Adam Lewis. McKenna Ludden. Allison Marie Majensky. Catherine Diane Marburger. Kiana Marie Martin. Abigail Mary Martino. Peter Michelson. Catherine Laura Molberg. Madison Shea Muzzy. V. Lan Wen. Quinn Elise Patry. Amelia Grace Potter. Sarah A. Rogers. Molly B. Ryan. Sonam Shawa Salcedo. Lily Stinchfield. Hannah Rose Taylor. Jessie Mariana Thompson. Public Health, Keisha Denoyer. Sport Management, Anthony Bradbury Coughlin. Chaz Cullum. Connor Donahue. Joshua Martin Finkel. Nicholas Alexander Grant. Heather Ann Hansen. Hannah Ruth Himes. Marissa Emily Holt. Noah James LaKire. Samuel George Richardson. Cross Sierra. Aiden Velez. Aiden Philip Weigel. Griffin Ty Wheeler. Master of Business Administration, Samantha Grace Bishop. Sean J. Cassavant. Jennifer Elizabeth DeMille. Haley Elizabeth Forrest. Bentley P. Gallo. Kira Catherine Green. Michael Joanno. Abigail Larrabee. Jesse McGlashing, Jr. Jared Taylor Marshall. Patrick James O'Hearn. Leah Micah Reynowska. Zachary J. Rogers. Amanda Spears. Kenneth Francis Spratt. Mary Rose Toms. Megan Tishy. Master of Science, Exercise Science, Anthony James Cipriano. Haley Daft. Chloe Christine Makala. Caitlin Raygret. Brooke Luann Washburn. Master of Science, Nursing, Kiana Cook. Master of Social Work, Chloe Rose Brisson. Danielle Godwin. Joy Marcia Lang Stone. Amanda Beth Roberge. Jocelyn Bauer Thompson. We will now present the first doctoral degrees in the college's history to our inaugural cohort of Doctor of Nursing Practice graduates. Each of our doctoral candidates will be presented with a ceremonial hood. The hooding ceremony is a cherished tradition that symbolizes the culmination of academic achievement at the doctoral level. It is a moment of pride for our graduates, their families, and the faculty who have guided them along their journey. As each doctoral graduate's name is called, we invite them to come forward to receive both their hood and their diploma. Director and Chair of Nursing, Dr. Joan Loftus, will place the hood over each graduate's shoulders, signifying their achievement and the trust we place in them as they embark on their next chapter. Doctor of Nursing Practice, Ariana Anton. Brianna Bagalio. Nicole Chartier. Justine Ashley Hagan. Eileen Hayes Bonacolto. Megan Ray Hebert. Kimberly Marie Hill. Donna DeSascio Mann. Daniel S. Moran. Marcy Nelson Singleton.
Will the graduates please stand? Will the audience please join me in congratulating our undergraduate and graduate students in the class of 2025. You may be seated. After the ceremony concludes, we will recess out of the field house, and I invite you to continue the festivities and congratulations with us. Your trustees, faculty, and staff will create an honor corridor through which you graduates, our newest Colby Sawyer alumni, will walk as you receive our congratulations. Everyone is welcome to gather for light refreshments in the Ware Student Center dining room. Graduates, if you've not already done so, you may move your tassels from right to left as a symbol of your graduation. We wish you well as you go forth, and we hope your careers and personal lives bring you happiness and great satisfaction. You will always be part of the Colby Sawyer family wherever you go, and we hope you will return often to your home here in New London. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Time I got to praying for a red light. It's when I saw your destination as a deadline. It's just normal conversation, baby, it's all fine. Making quiet calculations when the fall lies. It's as good a land, or at least it was. It takes a strong hand and a sound mind. The college kids are getting so young, ain't they? Correcting all the grammar on a spray paint. And I even gave up driving after nightfall. I got tired of the frat boys with the brights on. It's as good a land, or at least it was. It takes a strong hand and a sound mind. It makes me smile to know when things get hard. Ooh, you'll be far. Ooh, you'll be far from here. That while I clean shit up in the yard. Ooh, you'll be far. Ooh, you'll be far, far from here. So pack up your car, put a